Hello, alright, so in this video I'm going to be assembling the hoist assembly in Fusion 360. We have finished all of the 3D modeling, so it's now just assembling all of the separate components together to get this final 3D model. Now we have already assembled the pin bushing assembly, so it's going to be the same rough process, however this time with more components, and then assembling that same assembly with the pin bushing circlip multiple times. Relatively simple though, and it's going to be fine. So without further ado, let's get started. Open up Fusion 360. Once again, save your workspace, not into separate components, but this time in assemblies. I'm going to save this as the hoist assembly. We're going to save that. Turn on our origin, and the first thing we're going to do is insert our first component, and that is going to be this shaft. So I'm going to click shaft, left click, insert, and it's going to drag that here. Now I want my shaft to be facing on the y-axis, so I can just pivot it. However, I'm going to do things a bit differently. I'm going to go into set pivot first, and then I'm going to get my pivot to orient my pivot location essentially to be around this origin. I'm going to click that and then click done on the pivot location. Now I'm going to drag this up to exactly 90 degrees and then click OK. So now this shaft, the center of the shaft location, is now perfectly within the origin. So next thing we're going to do is now put the pulley inside. So we're going to go into insert component, left click that, find the pulley, which is right here, left click insert, and here we go. What we're going to do is just move it out of the way so it's a bit easier to select what we want. We're going to click OK. Then we're going to go into the joints system, left click that. And now, just like with the pin bushing circlip assembly, we're going to select the inside face and then select that secondary kind of selection point, which for this is this origin section. So we're going to click that and then do the exact same thing for the shaft, the surface, and then the center point, which is this point right here. Now, as we can see, it's connected very, very nicely. Now we're going to do the cable. We're going to go into insert component, find the cable, which is oh wait, pulley, no, so it's right here. Oops. There we go, found the cable. And just like that. Now for this one, if we go into joint and try to select the face, we can actually select this face here. Whoops. We can select that. If you're struggling to select this face, make sure you have the origin enabled, or if you're still having trouble with that, try and turn on the sketches, and then you can add the joint system onto that sketch profile. So once you've then selected your joint for the cable, you can then go into component 2 and select the inside of this face here, and then go and select the origin. Just like that, and it should connect up very nicely. Throughout all of this, something to do to just make sure everything is connecting very nicely is going into inspect and section analysis, and then select the plane that you want to cut your model in half. So that's going to be the XY origin plane. So if I select that and maybe flip that and click OK, you can then see how everything has linked together very nicely. So we'll do that at the end to see roughly how that looks. So to get rid of that, I'm going to go into my analysis, then toggle the visibility off. Now I'm going to go into insert component and now get the base plate, which is already a pre-downloaded component. And I left click that, insert, move it out of the way over here, and then do the joint system once again. I'm going to go onto this underside, select this line here, left click that, and then left click this line here. And so this essentially means if we go into a side view, it's now flush to the surface, because this is where our shaft circlip is going to go. So if I go into a top view, this looks not quite correct actually. So because our cable is going this way, we want our hook to go this way. So I'm going to drag this slider and slide it 90 degrees this way. And now that should be fine. So if I click. So now we're just going to do that again, going into insert component, left click that, go over to base plate, insert, move this. Now, if you want to skip the whole joint, well, not skip the joint function, but stop the rotation at the joint function, you can do the rotation here by just selecting this slider here, pivoting it around to 180 degrees. Oh, no, not 180 degrees, 90 degrees. There we go. And then click OK. You can then go into joint and then do the exact same process, selecting, left clicking this edge here, and then this edge right here on the shaft. Then it should go over just like that. You can click OK. And now we've got a few more things to add onto this before we go onto the pin bushing circlip assembly. We're going to go into insert component, find the shaft washer, which is this one right here. Now, as you can see, it's starting to intersect with the model, so whenever you insert it, make sure to bring it out so you can move it around easier. I'm going to go into joint and just attach this to the top section where the shaft is. So, selecting this edge right here. Click OK. Do the same thing again, shaft washer. Dragging it outside, finding the joint button, this edge here, and doing the exact same, but this time on the bottom. Nice, and that's connected up really nicely now. And if I go into section analysis, this looks good. Nothing is intersecting with each other, and they're all working together pretty nicely. Oh, we still have to add the shaft circlip though. So let's go into insert component, shaft circlip. Same process, drag it out of the way. Go into the joint function, select this top edge, and now we're just going to go into this edge here, and it should connect very nicely, just like that. I'm going to click OK, and then do the same process again. Shaft circlip. I'm going to start speeding up a bit now. Go into a joint, select this edge, go underneath, select this edge here as well. Cool. Now it's the pin bushing assembly, pin bushing circlip assembly. So we're going to go into the insert component. However, instead of separate components, we're going to go into assemblies and go into the pin bushing circlip assembly. Insert that. Drag it out of the way. Click OK. And now we're going to select this top part and select this edge right here and connect that to this edge right here. So as you can see, it's intersecting. That's not what we want, but what we are going to do is select this flip icon, and now that's going to connect very nicely. So at the moment, it looks like it's just this pin circlip which is connecting, but as soon as I click OK, it all locks into place, which is what we want. So we're going to do the same thing again, insert component, pin bushing circlip assembly, move it out of the way, go into joint, select this edge and select this edge. Now we don't need to flip it because as you can see it's not intersecting. However, if we want it to be in the same direction facing as all of the other circlip assemblies, we want to just spin this around to 270 degrees, click OK. We've got to do that one more time now. Insert, move it out of the way, click OK, joint, this edge to this edge, spin it around 180 degrees. Oh no, it was 270. Whoops. Now if I click OK, there we go, it joins up very nicely. If we want to double check this, once again, go into inspect, section analysis, and we're going to make a new analysis, this time on the YZ plane. We can see, if we go into a side view, everything is connecting up very nicely. So before we get started into adding the hook, what we are going to do is add the bolt washers. So go into insert component, separate components, and the bolt washers. So that's one. I'm going to go into joint, same process again. A lot of this is just a repetition, to be honest. Go into here, click OK, and do the same thing again. Bolt washer, move this up, joint this edge right here, and this edge right here. I'm going to click OK, and now we're going to add the hook. We're going to go into insert component, hook, left click to get that inside our virtual workspace. Go into the top view. Now we know that the hook has to be on the opposite side of the cable, so we're going to click and drag this 75, ooh, is it 75 degrees? 90 degrees, and just move it outwards slightly. We're going to click OK, and now what we are going to do is click the joint function, this edge, and then this edge. Now this is not in the center. If we go into a side view, we can see how there's a gap here, but there's no gap here, and we need there to be an equal gap. So we're going to move this 0.3 millimeters and click OK. Now just to double check, we can go into the measure element. So you can click measure, select this edge, and select this edge and this face, and that's 0.3 millimeters, and then check that with this face and this face, and that is also 0.3 millimeters. So we know that that's now in the middle. A few things more to add. Insert component and go and add the bolt. Here we go. We're going to move it all the way over here, pivot it, click OK. Now just like what we did at the start, we're going to select the edge, well, not the edge, for face, and then select this center point here, and do the exact same thing for the hook. Select the inside face, and then this center point here. And as you can see, it's now gone inside the midpoint of the hook. Going to click OK, and now I'm adding the nut. Have the nut. It's now down here. Now the nut at the moment is facing upwards, so we are keeping this in mind. So I'm going to select this edge and attach it to this edge here. Now it doesn't matter if your nut is high or low, so I'm going to keep it low for now. And I'll click OK. I'm going to go into insert component and do that one more time. Go into the nut. Going to pivot it just like that. Click OK, and join it once again. Selecting that edge and then this edge. Now you might have a lot of stuff on your screen, including loads of origins and loads of sketches. Don't worry, you can clear this up. So for instance, if I wanted to get rid of this origin here, I can left click it, and I can find the part of my browser that is highlighted. So as you can see, that is nut. Go into a drop down menu and then toggle my visibility off. Same thing goes with the sketches. As you can see, there's a sketch here. You can left click that, bolt washer, found it, sketches, turn off sketches. You can do that for all of them, and just make sure everything's cleared if that helps. And if you want to just quickly check if your model works, once again, go into your analysis and find your section views, and then you can essentially just see, okay, does everything link up? Nothing is intersecting. Don't worry if your bolt and your nut is intersecting, that's totally fine, unless you've got the threading wrong. But don't worry, as long as your threading is correct from the past videos, don't worry about them intersecting for now. That's absolutely fine. And after that, you are done with the hoist assembly. That is it.